Yo, what is up, homies and cronies? So I wanted to do a video explaining why the fuck I do this channel. I mean, I did kind of lay it out in my description. Mighty fucking eloquently, I might add. No, I'm just kidding. I want to provide an example of how you can be a perfectly functional member of society. Starting full-time university for psychology in the summer. I'm going to continue working 3-hour university days twice a week, and I'll be working twice a week. I want to prove that, you can still do fucking hallucinogenic drugs and shit, and you can function, and more than function, you can actually sharpen your objectivity if you take the right approach. But the thing is, because of the illicit nature of these things, I, as well as any recreational user, doesn't get the therapeutic medicinal benefit of it because they don't have that framework in play. Who, other than writing an Arrowwood fucking report, is really reintegrating their trips? Who really knows how? But mark my words, I'll be an LSD psychologist in 2.5 years, or something along those lines. Anyways, because the other day, actually twice in the same day, my mom was like, "Oh, someone was asking about you," and I was like, "Who?" She's like, "Oh, she says you have a YouTube channel," and she was like, "Wondering if you're okay." Here's the thing, my parents know I smoke DMT and shit like that. They're just happy I'm not fucking shooting coke and heroin, And, DMT, I think, is probably the most abuse-proof drug on the planet. Because even though I've been able to do a lot of it, it's not always a good time. I wouldn't say I've had bad times, but I've had times that have been, jarring, to say the least. I think DMT addiction would just be silly. But I smoke on camera because, for one, I want to show the effects. I know far too many people who have done NN dimethyltryptamine, not 5-MeO, NN, and they've done it standing up, and they've fallen on their fucking face. I also, I almost never, ever hear someone say I did DMT, and I don't regard it as a highly profound metaphysical experience. It's almost always this was the most spiritual thing that's ever happened to me. So I want to show that in the midst of all of these people who are probably, stacking their library with Eckhart Tolle books, fucking just seeking enlightenment, and enlightenment's one of those things. Seek and you shall find. If you seek hard enough, even if you're lying to yourself at the end of the day, you'll find it. You know what I mean? So I think that's more so what's going on. Terence McKenna, for example, he struck me as someone, he said he was schizophrenic. He struck me as someone who wanted, because he is essentially credited with discovering DMT, even though it was used during MKUltra on prisoners and stuff, which is a lovely setting. No wonder Whitey Bulger is so fucked up, or was so fucked up, past tense. He was the first one to get it out of the ayahuasca root and isolate it and go, hey, I'm putting this in a meth pipe and fucking smoking it. Well, good on him. I think that's true. I could be wrong about that, but he at least popularized it. And it was like once he did it, he had to preach the good word. Fucking, like, his whole line, if UFOs landed on the lawn of the White House tomorrow, it wouldn't be anywhere near as strange. Well, I agree with him in content. I don't agree with that statement at all. Because unless you're seeing those UFOs while you're high, like say one person did DMT and everyone around them could see exactly what they were seeing. And I'm not just talking about full idea, like a full crowd. But even mass delusion is, it happens in more than two, fully do it. Like Miracle of Fatima. Well, air quotes miracle. Just a bunch of people who really wanted to see angels staring at the sun and getting sunspots in their eyes. But I digress. I think if a bunch of people saw the same thing you were seeing, like to the T, like 12 people, that would be something. But I do think it's much more rooted in the mind. I always reserve the potential that I could be wrong. I reserve that with everything because I am wrong all the fucking time. My dad also said to me that day, one of my friends said they saw you smoking DMT on YouTube. And I was like, yes, I have a YouTube channel showing people how to smoke DMT properly. I wasted hundreds of dollars trying to figure the fucking, how to do it properly. Especially with the bald pipe, that shit's hard. Anyways, I just realized I forgot something, that I was gonna buy, but whatever. I also, in addition to wanting to show that this can be something done in a completely non-intrusive way to one's life, outside of, just, of course, introspection and learning and occasionally some existential dread. It's not something that is ruining lives. Let me put it that way. The only lives I've heard of that have been ruined by DMT are people who had pre-existing mental health issues. Do not, I repeat, do not do any psychedelics, even pot, if you have a trace amount of bipolar or whatever in your family lineage, your bloodline. Because even if you weren't going to get it or you're going to get it later in your life, it's sitting there dormant. And the way psychedelics just completely light your brain up like a Christmas tree, that can cause issues. So no, I don't play the McKenna game and go, everyone needs to do this. But at the same time, I also, the reason I don't do what Adam from Psych Substance does, and various other people do this is for educational purposes only. We do not glorify the use of drug use. I know why they do it. It's a loophole type thing. But here's the thing. I want to give you a fair and balanced opinion. I don't want to masquerade as a scientist because I want to make fucking money. I think that's almost, I think that borders on recklessness. But I would say, and you could feel free to disagree with me, that most of my videos are me giving you pros and cons, not going, this is fucking awesome, you should all do it. I'll tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, because all three are there with stuff like that. But I also do this I state this in the description on my channel, as a means of therapy. Because I feel like since I can't journal and shit, and I can't write fiction because I can't write, period, and so my hand it just is completely numb, and it will be for years. I know, I tried dragon speak and stuff like that, but I don't like it. I find, bearing my soul here is, it provides that same sense of catharsis and even purgation, where it's like, oh, I'm getting that off my chest, out of me, and that ties into, as I've stated before, people made up fucking fairy tales about me, elaborate ones, when I was an addict, and I decided to squirrel myself away from my friends and shit, so I didn't expose them to hard drugs, which I always considered to be something contagious. The more you're exposed to it, the more normalized it is to you. Then all of a sudden, putting a needle in your arm is not a weird thing. So I very much went out of my way to do that. Well, funnily enough, despite not seeing those people, there are so many accounts of me at parties, just like jacking up in front of everyone. Never done that in my life. So yeah, that lends itself to setting the record straight as far as my life is concerned. But yeah, and like, if something terrible does happen to me, like I'm admittedly, as I've stated before, worried about the absurd amount of benzos and ketamine I have to take right now to fight the pain that I'm dealing with constantly. Look at I am on 3 Xanax bars right now, and I feel like shit. So if I spiral and I fucking die tomorrow, then hey, cautionary tale, but don't blame the psychedelics. They had nothing to do with this. The psychedelics had nothing to do with giving me pain. If anything gave me pain, it was putting me on methadone when I was 16. Methadone, as well as any opioid blocker, or just opioids in general, if you do them enough, that blocks the very important membrane over your opioid receptors. And when your brain is still malleable, which mine very much was, because as a late bloomer, puberty-wise, you could say I haven't even fully gone through puberty because of my facial hair, which, it basically made my brain, and this is just me speculating, but I think I've seen enough empirical proof to say that this probably is accurate, but that my brain, since it was completely walled off those receptors, which are very important, the membrane on the opioid receptors, which is very important for getting neurotransmitters to the brain, probably made my body go completely out of whack and grow in the wrong direction. Body and brain, actually more so brain. Yeah, my brain grew in a malformed way when it came to dealing with pain, because since it's neurological, it's not actually coming from the nerves, which is, I've said this before, it's just frustrating because it's silly. It seems so silly, but it hurts so fucking much. So anyways, my body grew unnaturally. Brain again. But that, I guess they both affect each other. So my brain and my physiology grew unnaturally when it came to dealing with pain. And so I think it just mistakes certain signals as pain now. Like a great example, and this is partially why I'm sweating other than just walking up a hill. This leather jacket has no insulation, So weird things like heat building up and not being able to leave my clothing because of insulation can be enough to cause my body to start to panic. And when it starts to panic, it's like, okay, sound the alarm, let's start fucking hurting. You know? Well, I mean, you probably don't, but I hope you don't. I pray to fucking whatever Cthulhu god is out there that you don't. Yeah. And I also want to show you that even if I don't make it, and don't worry, I'm not saying that I won't, I intend to, that I gave it a fighting fucking shot. But don't read between the lines or anything. I intend to go as long as possible. I just mean, like, if I do end up getting diagnosed with something like MS or whatever, because they were saying, like, I probably had MS before they gave me the Huntington's diagnosis. You know, I would go out on my own terms, but every inch of life I have for the rest of my life, maybe a little iota, I'm going to try to make the most out of, and the direct in a way that's going to be like relatively rewarding. But whether that be 2 years or 50, you know, I hope it can be 50. That'd be ideal. But motor neuron diseases are a bitch. I'm not saying I have one, but I just don't know. Seems more like lupus, but lupus is it's a pretty tough one to live with, and on top of everything else, it's not going to be pleasant, but I have survived this far. I have been a fucking soldier of this fucking world. Not saying I deserve a fucking medal, but you know, it's like okay, here's a comparison that you might understand. Imagine you're tasked 24 hours a day with one fire extinguisher, and you have 4 doors, and there are flames shooting through all of them, and you have to just kind of keep them back as much as possible, but you don't have anything really to make the fires go out, so you just got to keep them tamed, but they just keep coming and coming and coming. That's how it feels. But I'm not going to be all miserable fucking poo here. Like, I'm just telling you the reality of it. Otherwise, I'm happy to be here. I'm fucking happy to be what I'm doing. I have few regrets at this point. I've done a lot in my life to make peace with people, and I look forward to all the new relationships that I'm going to have. I mean, I already have like a couple of pretty cool friend groups who treat me like just beyond amazing, and it's so touching. And I mean, I know there are good people out there too. It's just I've had a lot of just the taste of the worst over the last little while. Sad, but you're working in a high crime area. That tends to be what you get every now and then. But at the same time, I've also found myself just questioning loyalty of people, because I'm very much a believer of you get what you give. And I'm wrong all the fucking time, but I think if you put out services for others, and you care for others, you listen to them, you help them work through their problems, stuff like that, You'd hope they would be able to do the same. And if one person's watching this and thinking I'm talking about you, not just you, no, lots of people. Anyways, I'm home now, so home again, jiggy jig. I just wanted to tell you that, yeah, I'm not glorifying fucking drugs. Like, I am showing you what they look like in someone who is equipped to, I don't want to say handle them, but like equipped to do them and, be able to work through any repercussions if there are any. Anyways, I'm gonna catch you later. Subscribe, please.